Here's the breaking news about the fourth stimulus checks that you definitely want to know. Be sure to stay until the end of the video, folks, because we got a ton of information. Now then, just last week, everybody, Joe Biden signed 2 executive orders, and one of those would increase the federal food assistance and streamline the delivery stimulus checks. That's what President Biden did early this year to try to stabilize the economy, and then just last week, the Biden administration took steps to make the government services easier and more accessible and streamlined for Americans across agencies through an executive order for President Biden. The executive order that President Biden did aims to improve the customer experience on a variety of services run by the government. For example, long calls for Social Security payments. Well, President Biden's trying to fix that. And according to the House, President Biden could sign an executive order that would pass all of his spending bills into law. And that's pretty much done as soon as possible. Biden said the order would direct 17 agencies to focus on more than 30 key areas to make it easier to apply for services and benefits that people are entitled to. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez also urged the president to use the power of his executive pen to take action on his $1.75 trillion legislation of social safety net programs. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said it is just the way the Senate runs. It's fundamentally undemocratic. The Democratic Congresswoman from New York said that she's calling on the Senate to hold a vote on President Biden's bill anyways. Ocasio-Cortez reiterated her call for an end to the filibuster in the Senate, and she also pushed President Biden to make use of his executive power. But many Democrats, including the White House, senators, and Ocasio-Cortez, as well as their liberal allies, reacted to Senator Joe Manchin's announcement that he would not be sitting at the fourth stimulus checks. In short, many Democrats were disappointed, and many Americans were left in the dust.
A second area protecting American consumers. Take gas prices. Months ago, I saw oil production wasn't keeping up with the demand as the world started to get moving again, which could drive up prices at the expense of our consumers. That's why I work with international partners to coordinate the release of oil from our oil reserves and theirs. Now, gas prices are coming down, more than 10 cents a gallon nationally. Gas prices in 21 states now are at their historic averages before the pandemic, historic averages. That's good news for Americans hitting the road this week. But beyond energy, we need to make sure that there's a robust competition across industries.
Now, many people are also waiting for the extension of the Enhanced Child Tax Credit. Without the Enhanced Child Tax Credit, nearly 10 million people are at risk of falling back below the poverty line or even slipping into the deeper pits of poverty. So another 27 million people will actually lose part or all of the credit. And all 65 million people that are eligible for the credit will get less money in the new year of 2022. Meaning that families without earned income could still claim the credit for eligible kids. To be sure, the child tax credit won't go away entirely. Families instead will still be able to claim the regular child tax credit when they file their 2022 taxes in 2023. But that credit is much smaller and doesn't come with monthly payments and won't go to as many children as the enhanced benefit did. Folks, that's all the news about the fourth stimulus checks that you want to know. Thank you again for your support, and until next time.
Hello, folks. How are you? I want to thank the business leaders for joining us today, as well as members of my cabinet and the White House team. Before getting an update from my supply chain task force, I want to say a word about the progress our economy's made this year and how my administration will continue to tackle the cost increase that American people are facing. In the end of 2021, with what one analyst described as the strongest first-year economic track record of any president in the last 50 years, nearly 6 million new jobs, a record number for a new president because of my staff and my cabinet. Unemployment down to 4.2%, 3 years ahead of the predicted time it would take to get to that number. Applicants for new small businesses up 30% compared to before the pandemic. And the fastest economic growth in nearly 40 years. There's more as well. Today, America is the only leading economy in the world where household incomes and the economy as a whole are stronger than they were before the pandemic, even accounting for price increases. The economy I inherited nearly a year ago wasn't just in crisis, it wasn't working for working people. I told you that's the reason I ran. It's about time the middle class and working class people got a shot. Year after year, economic growth was too low, wages for the middle class were stagnant, and the number of people starting new small businesses was declining. Over this year, we've acted, from the American Rescue Plan to the bipartisan infrastructure law, to change this trajectory, to build an economy.
Go ahead, Phil. Trevor's like, I've asked all my questions. I'm done. Go ahead, Phil.
I beat you, Trevor. That's a big day for me. I'm not trying to be flip with this question, but can you characterize where Build Back Better talks actually are right now? Like, are they back on? What's the process here in the weeks ahead, given some of the optimism we heard from the president last night?
Sure, and I think you heard optimism as well, Phil, from a number of senators who came out of a meeting or discussion of the members of the Democratic caucus last night. And I think what's important to note there is that there is agreement by the vast majority of members that we absolutely need to move forward. And the cost of inaction makes it so that we don't have there's no other option, I should say. And I would say at this point, we expect there to be ongoing and continued conversations at a staff level. Certainly the president will be engaged with members and could be over the coming days. And we are looking forward to moving forward in January, as Leader Schumer has announced.
Have there been any more contacts with Senator Manchin or his office since the president spoke to him on Sunday night?
We have been in touch with his team and his office, and I expect we will continue to be in touch with him as well, but I'm not going to outline all those specifics from here.
And just one more. Obviously, you laid it out, and the president laid it out in his statement, but what led to this? Was there a specific thing?
I know we've dumped a lot of news in your inboxes this morning. So a couple of other notes for all of you and for those of you who haven't caught up with everything quite yet. As you may have seen already, today the president announced that his administration is extending the pause on student loan repayments for an additional 90 days through May 1st, 2022. This is an issue both President Biden and Vice President Harris care deeply about. While the jobs recovery is one of the strongest on record, with nearly 6 million jobs added under President Biden, the fewest Americans filing for unemployment in more than 50 years, and overall unemployment down from 6% to 4.2%, we know some student loan borrowers are still coping with the pandemic and need some time before resuming payments. So this pause gives the administration time to manage the ongoing pandemic and further strengthen our economic recovery. In the meantime, the Department of Education, and they also issued a statement that hopefully you will have seen, will continue working with borrowers to support a smooth transition back into repayment and advance economic stability. I would also note, for all the